Hi, my name is Ronald Mutuku, founder, Silqu. And the story of Silqu goes back several years ago, almost 20 years now, 21 years ago, which is 2004, when I was a young boy in Form 1. And back then, my father used to manage some single rooms. We had this chama group of guys. They bought land next to our place, and we used to have a small shop where we used to sell bread and milk. And since we are the next door neighbor, they came over to my dad and told him, "Can you help us watch over our units?" There were like, initially there were 6 units, which were, a guy was making 300 shillings per unit. It was coming to almost 1,800. And what used to happen is my dad used to collect this money once in a while. So before the end of the month, what they used to do, you come on and you pay at the shop. If you don't pay, we chase you. So as I grew older, when I got to Form 1 now, I used to help in writing the receipts. You bring the money, I write the receipts, he sends me to deliver to them. But as I grew a bit older, towards 2007, when I was finishing my high school, now I was now in charge of everything. Collection of the money, writing of the receipts, and recording of the transactions. So initially they used to meet once in a month with one of the representatives to give him the money. They used to meet in town, he used to come over. So when I joined campus, that is now 2009, I went to Jomo Kenyatta University, where I did mathematics and computer science. But now I had this one cousin who used to school at Catholic University. And he used to come and show me he's done some games using programs. So by the time I'm getting into university, I'd already started to have, I started getting interested in coding, because it was quite a remarkable thing that you can just write some English codes, and next thing you have a game playing. So I remember I bought my first laptop in 2009, before I joined Jomo Kenyatta University. I bought it for 1,000 shillings. I still have it even today. It was a very slow machine. I think it was 256 MB RAM. It was a Lenovo. One of my friends didn't know what to do with it because it was old. She had it in the house. So she told me, "You have 1,000?" Back then I used to repair radios and electronics. So she told me, "Do you have 1,000? I give you this laptop." Interestingly, that one laptop is what has made me to be where I am today. Because I remember I fixed it, I was able to boot it, put it on. It would take almost 5 minutes to go on, but that is where the journey of coding started. So when I joined university, I had that one laptop. So I used to do a lot of coding. From we meet up with my cousin, he's like showing me now how they've progressed, what new things they're doing. So it was so interesting. By the time I'm finishing university, I had done a lot of projects using that small laptop. And now help came in, and I bought my first laptop. Now, once I finished, remember all this time when I'm still in campus, I'm also still managing the properties from the neighbors. And now they had increased. The guy had built more. And interestingly, we even got some other group from within the same estate. They also built some single rooms. And now they also gave us to manage, to help them watch over and manage, kind of. So you collect the money, you give the receipts, you keep the records, you meet with them, they pay a small commission. They used to pay us 10%. So back then in campus and high school, that was a lot of money. Even if the rent had increased from 300 to 600 to 900. So by the time I'm in campus, I'm finishing campus, we are like now talking around 2,000 shillings for a single room. And now we have 11 units. They've grown. Now the problem came in. All this time, you meet with someone on the street and he's like gives you a K, 1,000 shillings, and tells you, that's part of my rent. So at the end of the month, I have to remember to write that receipt. Now, when you grow up, you start getting a lot of responsibilities. You don't just stay with money. So what do? I get my K. I just go eat mutura and nyamachoma and I forget, oh my goodness, it was for rent. So at the end of the month, the owner comes now. I have to come back, sit down, do the math. This guy gave me this money, this. I have no record whatsoever. I have forgotten to write the receipts. The guy gave me money. I was on my way out. So I was not on the shop always. Sometimes now when you don't pay, I used to go to the door and bang the door, you pay me. So when I was finishing campus, I was like, now I have a small skill I can use. Why don't I just develop a small software to help me manage this, use small single rooms? Fast forward, I did the first version in 2013. The first version, it was called, I called it what? Rent something. What did I call it? It was a desktop application. So I used to go record the payments they've given me every day. And at least now I have like a small printout of the report to give this, the representative of this group. Fast forward 2015, M-Pesa now was a bit common. APIs were open. So I was like, why don't I just give these guys M-Pesa to pay? And when they pay, I can be able to avoid the issue of dealing with cash. Because remember, cash was giving me issues. One, I don't have the money. I've spent the money on things because I have the money. I don't know what it is for. I used to take a lot of cash. I have it in the house. There's risk of it being stolen. There's also the risk of me misusing the money myself. So if I eat all this money, I don't have a job. Where will I get the money back to pay these guys? So I opted, let me just register a till to help these guys pay. So we registered a till in 2015. And now these guys were paying to the till. At least now I had managed to sort out the mess of the cash. But now I had another problem. When they paid to the M-Pesa till, they had to send me the message or to confirm. And also, I needed to now know who was paying for what. So my idea of using M-Pesa brought another problem, which is now I have to sit down, look for statements, look at who has paid what. Because remember, these units, they are different houses. They share the same unit name. It's a till number. These people don't put any accounts. They just pay and go. I don't know all of them. Now I had 22 units back then. I was managing 22 units. I don't know who has paid, who was paying for. And then the problem with most of those guys, I used to pay half. So you find these guys paid 1,000 today, 500 tomorrow, another 1K. So reconciliation became an issue. So M-Pesa had also released their API now in 2015. Before they were using the old APIs before they came to Kenya. So they released a G2 in 2015. So that was the first integration we did. And I now redid the platform and call it Citrus. And now changed it to web-based. I could access it on the phone. I did integration with M-Pesa. But then now I was a bit confident with it. I was able to receive rent payment by these guys. I was able to generate a statement of the month. I was able to know who was paid. And now the only thing which was left is notify these people when they pay. So I also integrated with SMSs. So the platform was now integrated with payments and platform and SMSs. When you pay, you get a message with your balance. That was the first platform, which was end-to-end complete. But now I was also having another challenge. Now, who will now, because now I was already now working, back in 2015, I was working in the banking sector. I was doing softwares for the banks. And now I was gaining experience in how to handle money, how to securely transfer money from one point to another without exposing yourself. So I used to work at Craft Silicon back then. So I was like, can I build something which can solve problems for most of the people who are having the same challenges which I had? And I think back then we did a smaller version. We call it Citrus of the platform. So once we launched it, we had an issue. These guys, they needed to call someone. I was not available to be called by someone. I was at work mostly. I used to work until late. I go home at night. I am so tired. Also, the only time I could see these guys is over the weekends. So you'll find there are tenants who are looking to get into the houses. There are complaints which need to be fixed. There are a lot of issues. And those houses didn't have a caretaker back then, remember? So now I was in another situation. Now, how do I make sure this is a complete solution? So, with all these learnings, we now decided to form a company called Silqu. That is now, we've moved past to now 2021. 2021, after COVID, we were like, I think the main trigger which happened in 2020 was, I remember I had moved to a gated community where I was living in an apartment in a gated community. And then while I was there, my landlord, when I went there, I met someone at the office and they give me how to pay. And then my landlord one day comes in the house and asks me, what are you doing in my house? The owner of the unit now, what are you doing in the house? I told him, I was given this house, I normally rent this house, and this is the amount I pay. He asked me, do you pay rent? Yes, I do. Where do you pay? So I gave him the statements. And the guy was amused. How come you've been paying rent and I'm not aware as the property owner? Then I was like, this is a huge problem which most of people are facing right now. Can we get a solution now to everyone in this space? So that is where now we met up. Now I was working with Bramwell back then now. We met up and we now started Silqu now as a solution to everyone. So from a small system which was helping me handle my mess, now we transitioned to something with the learnings which I had done from the banking space, from my agents, from my experience as an agent managing tenants, complaints, issues. We now came up with a list of the problems in the sector of real estate, and now we formed Silqu. So Silqu is a story of a lot of years of experience of trying to do things and having problems and not knowing how to do it. So with the experience I'd learned in banking, we came up with a few developers in the office. We started a small office. I think we had to sit for almost 6 months before we had the first product out. And we sat with developers. We built Silqu version 1. And luckily, we got several clients that year who wanted to try it out. So with the experience in banking, we managed to do integration with all banks. In a way, when a tenant makes a payment, we are able to do the reconciliation. And at the same time, we are able to push that money out in real time. So it's just a matter of seconds. From when you put your PIN, if you're paying using mobile money, you just go to mobile money, put a pay bill number, put an account number of your house number or a reference number, which we give you. And instantly, money moves from your account into Silqu's account, and then we do the reconciliation between your invoices, which you've been invoiced by the platform, and we generate a receipt to you, and instantly money moves from our account to the landlord's account. All of them in real time. So that was the first version of Silqu. So where we were doing the collection and we were able to remit the funds in real time to the landlord's account. This was helping in reconciliation because our accounts were already mapped to the platform. Also helped in ensuring that we also settle in terms of the small fee we charge for the platform. And also the landlord has their money in real time so they can do something with it, if it is repairs or anything. And then now we also set up a customer service. Remember the issues I was talking about where there's nobody to receive calls when you are not available. So we looked at that and we set up a customer service where you can just call us, you can chat, use it to our bots, you can create a ticket and the system generates a reference, and then we are able to sort out the customer while you're not there. So, and now with the growth of technology now in 2025, we have now AI to also help us in terms of ensuring you have someone listening to your tenants when you're not there. Because sometimes you'll find property owners, property managers, agents, everyone, they might be occupied somewhere and they rely on the caretaker to give the information, or they rely on someone else, a third party. And sometimes as you learn, information moves differently. Whatever the customer wants versus what you get could be translated in between to mean something different. So now with the technology we have at Silqu, you're able to talk to your tenants, see what they are really saying, and we are able to respond to them without it getting to you fast, if you allow. We are able to also add AI into it to be able to listen to them and give them proper responses. We're able to reconcile your payment. You're able to bill. Now we've added water billing into the platform. We've done integration with all banks. Now we've made the platform so complex that you can even collect money to your bank account. And at the same time, we do reconciliations for you. And we were able to get all these services. So across that entire period, we have been learning on how to improve this platform. And we are happy to say now, we believe we are going to take the platform to a level never seen before. And I believe we should be the best example of what a small thing can really develop into something so critical in the real estate sector. So what we are now working on is now new features in terms of helping you as a landlord, as a property manager, from marketing your property to tenant screening, to tenant onboarding, to billing, to payment, to tenant concerns issues, to expenses, to lease signing, all of them, everything in one platform, in a small phone. So we have managed to have now, you can use Silqu using WhatsApp, you can use Silqu using Telegram, USSD, you can use it using a mobile app, whether on Play Store or App Store. If you're using an iPhone or if you're using an Android phone, you can use it. If you're using a laptop, you can use it. So we are trying to ensure that everyone across the globe can be able to use Silqu wherever you are. So even if you are a landlord in the US, you are the landlord in Dubai, in Qatar, in Myanmar, in Indonesia, in Kenya, you can be able to manage your property using your smartphone. See your vacant units, see who has paid, see how much money you're making, see analytics on in terms of how the performance of the tenants are doing, the trends of the tenants, the kind of tenants you're having. All those things, Silqu is able to do it for you. Thank you.